Well, to reach back to one of our heroes from the past, from the 60s, Saul Alinsky once said that even though both sides have flaws in their arguments, and you can always find something nuanced about your own side you don't like, and it's never perfect, you have to act in the end like there's simple black and white clarity between your side and the other side, or you don't get anything done. I always try to remind myself of Saul Alinsky when I get confused. But congratulations to you, sir. You weren't confused.
Well, Saul Alinsky called for a community organizer to stir things up, to create agitation. In fact, he said you'll be accused of being an agitator, and that's exactly what you are. He wanted the haves and have-nots fighting with each other.
It wasn't until I was watching an old film from World War II that I realized what the left has been doing in America to pit the poor against the rich, blacks against whites, and the young against the old is the same tactic Hitler used to disunify Germany.
You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups. They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody is going to get something out of it, and it isn't going to be you.
And they use the conflict as justification for more government to stop the chaos. So they create the chaos, and then they step in as a solution to the chaos. And as Francis Schaeffer said, once this chaos comes, most people will willingly give over to an authoritarianism because they don't want the chaos.
His book was kind of the field manual, if you will, for these activist organizations.
Which President Obama studied and taught at a workshop for 4 years in Chicago as a community organizer for ACORN.
It seems like Newt Gingrich's favorite name on the campaign trail. He invokes it constantly, comparing President Obama to one man.
The president believes in a kind of Saul Alinsky radicalism. The values that he believes in, the Saul Alinsky radicalism that is at the heart of Obama, are a disaster. I think he is a genuine, sincere Saul Alinsky radical.
Okay, folks, help us out.
Do you know who Saul Alinsky was?
I don't.
No idea?
No idea, sorry.
If I remember correctly, wasn't he a member of the Weather Underground?
Not quite.
He was a community organizer, I think Chicago-based.
We have a winner, Saul Alinsky, a community organizer in Chicago who took on powerful bosses like Mayor Richard Daley to give poor, underrepresented neighborhoods a voice in decision-making. So is Saul Alinsky this campaign's version of Reverend Jeremiah Wright and activist William Ayers, the polarizing figures conservatives bracketed President Obama with in 2008? Horowitz says even though he wrote 2 books with the word radical in their titles, Alinsky never adhered to extremes of any ideology, left or right, and says he always had a broader purpose.
Horowitz says Alinsky didn't organize protests just to agitate. He says he did it out of a true sense of patriotism, to effect what he saw as positive change for a country he genuinely loved.
As for an Obama connection, Saul Alinsky died when the president was 10 years old. Mr. Obama did once have the same job in Chicago, and Horowitz says he was trained by people who'd worked with Alinsky. Why is Newt Gingrich pounding on this? We couldn't get an answer out of his campaign.
In the shuffling madness of the locomotive breath runs the all-time loser, headlong to his death. Oh.
And Barack stood up that day and he spoke words that have stayed with me ever since. He talked about the world as it is and the world as it should be. And he said that all too often we accept the distance between the two and we settle for the world as it is, even when it doesn't reflect our values and aspirations.
No way.